Let's finish up by talking a little bit about some of the plugins that you can use to add functionality to ZBrush. Talk about some of the libraries that you're able to get for things like alphas and textures for your ZBrush projects. All right, so since you're just getting started with ZBrush, there are a number of plugins that you'll be able to take advantage of to add different types of functionality to ZBrush. And you can see that we've got some of those loaded up here. If we go to actually the Pixelogic website and go to the Download Center, so under Support, Download Center, you can see that we have upgrade and documentation information here on the tab, but we also have a tab for ZBrush plugins. Okay, so we can choose the version of ZBrush that we're using. Right here you can see that we're looking at ZBrush 4 plugins. And so if we take a look at these, there are a number of pieces that we can sort of add to ZBrush. So we've got the UV master, which is great for getting more control over your UV layout. There is built-in UV functionality, but the UV master is going to make that process a lot easier when you're creating UVs to be able to create textures and normal and displacement maps. This is going to be a really handy tool for you. Paint Stop is going to be a nice tool to play with as far as really doing some painting with traditional painting tools and media. So think of painting with charcoal or oil paint and things like that. We've got a plugin that enables us to export our models to be able to print them via 3D printer. Decimation Master is fairly new, but it's a really powerful plugin that will allow us to get our really high resolution models out of ZBrush into another application. So thinking about what we've talked about before, our models being into the millions of polygons, well, we can't really take those models out and do much with them in another application. So what Decimation Master will do is actually reduce the number of polygons in that mesh, but it'll keep visually a lot of the detail in there, so it'll look pretty much the same, but the resolution will be much smaller, so you can take that out and actually render. And on all of these plugins, you're going to find instructions for installing those. Typically, it's just as easy as unzipping a file and dropping that file into a particular folder. So it's going to be fairly easy. You can see that you have links for PC and Mac as well. Down here we've got ZAppLink, and this is version 4 that will enable you to integrate ZBrush with Photoshop. We've got the multi-map exporter, which really makes creating texture maps a lot quicker and easier. Coming down here we've got the Transpose Master, which we looked at using Transpose. This will actually allow you to use it with multiple subtools included. And then also one that I use a lot is this Subtool Master as well, and it allows you to just kind of automate a lot of the things you might want to do with your different subtools. So you can, again, as it says here, you can mirror and duplicate and merge and do a lot of things to those subtools, as well as we looked at filling those with a particular color. And so you'll find all of these links for these, and you can check those out and experiment with those, see what you think about those. They also have libraries here for matte caps, alphas, and textures. So our matte caps are basically just materials that are based on real life materials. So sampling a particular type of object, you can get a matte cap to kind of create different effects, and so you can see those here. We also have alphas that have been shared by people that you can go in and download for whatever you need, and then also texture library. So as you're getting started here, having this sort of raw material to work with is going to be really useful for you as you start practicing. Okay. You also have the ability in Lightbox to come in, and you can see that you've got a lot of different options in here for your textures. You've got different materials that you can add, different brushes, and you can also do searches on finding different images that you may want to use as well. Okay. Now there's a lot of information that we didn't cover. Really the purpose of this course was to take you, having not touched ZBrush before, and just kind of get you familiar with what it is, kind of how they do things in ZBrush, and then kind of go on from there. So this kind of brings us to the conclusion. We cover a wide range of ZBrush topics. So if you enjoyed the course and you want to learn more, make sure to check out all the additional courses that we have available at digitaltutors.com.